Today, let's talk about why Nigerian police cannot arrest thieves or cannot catch a lot of kidnappers, a lot of real criminals in Nigeria. Before we talk about how can they catch them, let us talk about why can't they catch them. Now, why can't they catch most of them? Because a lot of us think that, oh, Nigerian police is cracking down on kidnappers and they are catching thieves and they are catching this. Most times when you look at it, they are just catching a lot of innocent people. And that is part of the game. We know that poverty has been weaponized even against the law enforcement. So they become very desperate because they want promotion and they want to act like they are actually active in their work. But the reality is that most of our Nigerian police force or most of our Nigerian law enforcement cannot crack down on kidnappers, and they've not been catching many. It is the few that they catch that make you people think they are very good. There are a lot of them that are actually escaping. There are a lot of things that are going on that they don't even used to get. Why? Simply because the technology that our Nigerian law enforcement have is not only bad but very poor. Let us even talk about what do they have. Most of our Nigerian law enforcement, they only know how to trace things in an analog way, not in a digital way. For example, one of the ways they can get you is, when someone tends to be a kidnapper, maybe a thief or armed robber, most times they just get through the trace of maybe calls, maybe numbers, maybe few things that you use in calling. Then they trace the number that is being used. And the way they trace is through NIN, through BVN. Stuff like that is how they use in apprehending a lot of people. And through your NIN, you've actually set a lot of information about you from your NIN. Your SIM card is attached to your bank. Your SIM card is attached to your BVN. Your BVN carry your address number. Your NIN carry your address number. It is very easy for them to start putting eyes on you. But as Nigerian law enforcement are using that to crack down against kidnappers and thieves and armed robber too are wiser now, and they know that, okay, these are the ways they use in cracking upon them. And due to the poverty of the country, NIN people, those who register you for SIM card, most of them now, they kind of, deflate a lot of numbers. In fact, some of these telecommunication, they are even part of it, in a sense, allegedly. So a thief or an armed robber, a criminal knows that, well, before I go and participate in any criminal act, I have to have a strange number that is being registered by an innocent person, which most of these people who fill information can easily attach somebody else to fill in information, use your data to create a SIM card, give it to those people, and those people would use it to be making calls. And when the Nigerian law enforcement are going after them, they go after the innocent people and they find the innocent people and they put them in prison. I've been in prison. Many people in prison are very innocent. Even when the Nigerian law enforcement knows that this person is most likely not the criminal they are actually looking for, but basically because they want it to look as if they are working, then they always arrest innocent people. And why? Number one, poverty. They need money. Number two, there is no adequate equipment for them to trace. The biggest challenge is the fact that the Nigerian system does not even have technology as a whole. See all these our calls and the rest of it. I'm in Ogun State, for example. Now, if I put on my laptop and I put out my location will show you that I'm in Lagos. Why? Because most of these telecommunications have not been able to set a lot of geolocation, map a lot of geolocation, except you are using your GPS that can give a trace route to exactly where you are. And in fact, most law enforcement are so ignorant of technology to even understand that through a SIM card, you can get to a phone to understand the location of the individuals, not because you want to crack down on that particular individuals, but these are the possible things you need to know how to do, perhaps if there's anything going on. And I know some people will be like, oh, if you give out these details, that simply means that then the thieves are also going to be aware of it. Nope. There's something I wouldn't be saying. So if Nigerian government are very interested in helping our Nigerian law enforcement, what are the things they can do? They can decide to train certain intelligence group in Nigeria to say that we are going to fund certain intelligence. These people are going to be like our property. Even when you are out of the work, perhaps they will give them good salary, good type of lifestyle that these people would always have the access to crack down, and they'll be very good at technology whenever there are serious crimes in Nigeria. And how can they do that? I wouldn't want to say everything on live on how they can do that, but what I would say is this: it is easy for one to crack on certain details beyond SIM card, certain details beyond this. Because in the SIM card, let me put it this way: some of the intelligence we use through certain telecommunications to read your text messages, to hear your voice calls, and sometimes they use through voice calls, through text messages to know the data that has been transacted from one person to another. And some of these people are already aware of it. For example, if a good criminal wants to do certain things, rather than them texting each other message, they wouldn't text each other. What they do is they open a particular email address and they will write a message on that email address and save it as draft. And the other person in another location will open that same particular email address and edit what is in the draft and put his own message on the draft. And so what does that mean? It means that there is no TCP, there's no transmission control protocol between the two systems. And so what happens? The data remain on an email without moving from one place to another. There is no exchange of information. So the other way is, how can we do it? Our Nigerian government must be interested in doing certain things to say we want to crack down on criminals to reduce the crime rate in Nigeria, to make sure that our brothers and sisters in diaspora will feel free to come home because home is actually safe for them. That's why they will want to come. Not even the hardship is one problem, but the crime rate is becoming the other one, which I know they work simultaneously together. But let's put it this way: who can train our Nigerian law enforcement to, not law enforcement, not all of them, because there are a lot of corrupt people. That's why I use the word intelligence office or department. If we want to have good intelligence office department, not the one, most DSS, most things they chase, they take time before they trace all those things. They have to monitor, and they use too many manpower when they should be using technology. And so they waste a lot of resources. And that's why you see that before you can go and arrest one person, sometimes if you go to some big police department, the money you will pay for car, the money you will pay for this, the money you pay for team to go arrest one person, you might even go 5 times. You're already spending 2 million. Maybe the person has even scammed you of 1 million naira. And you're already spending 2 million just for law enforcement to go and hold that person. So most of us, we already know all these things now. They don't do unto me safe. So the idea is this: we have to raise our Nigerian law enforcement to be technologically inclined, not to be working with their analog, because even the telecommunication people, they are not even good in the first place. And besides, there are certain things that needs to be done by the government that has not been done. This is not about infringing on people's privacy. This is about knowing where to trace and how to trace and where to get things from and how to get things. But I can't say it, because when I release the secret, then the armed robbers or the kidnappers, then they are going to develop other alternatives. But we know how some of all these things actually operate. It's not because we are part of those people. It is basically because I'm a man of thought and I analyze most of all these situations and I understand what is going on. I'm not inside even the law enforcement, but I know exactly what is going on. So in a nutshell, law enforcement needs to be able to do this. The Nigerian government needs to say that we want to eradicate, and if we want to eradicate, even the question is, how can they eradicate when some people are the ones even sponsoring Boko Haram? If we want to eradicate, invest in them. We will train them. You are going to pay, but we will train them how to do certain things, and they will be doing it instantly, and they will be, because let us put it this way: most of our database in Nigeria are not safe. For example, NIN is not really safe. NIN can be transmitted. All this can be transmitted, and you can actually inject it with some SQL injections and put some payloads there, and the NIN database will be destroyed. I am saying it not because I've done it. I'm saying it, but because I could perceive something from afar, based of what something is going on. And then you have to look at the voters, the voters card that we have. The idea is this: some people can take advantage of even the database of voters card, and they can mess it up, and all the data are going to mix together, because we know that all the data are saved in the server. And when the server is being affected, because there's no good back end in most of these things that are being built by our Nigerian programmers or web developers and the rest of it, and they may think it's not possible, but we wouldn't go too far. But the idea is this: they need to understand how to improve the security of these things. And it's not necessarily you have to come through me. It is that you have to source good people and know what you need to find to make sure all these things are set in place and they work effectively, or else a lot of innocent people will be in prison, and then you people will keep happy, getting yourself happy that you are doing your work, but at the end of the day, you ain't doing jack. In a nutshell, if the law enforcement are very interested in stuff like that, they can write to who you need to write to, and invest in such things. Then we would know that you are very effective in working by the results you are showing. And not be say EFCC too want to come, because the reason why I just think the EFCC thing is just one way is like EFCC that is carrying our money. When people scam us, we don't get our money back. But when they say Nigerians scam people, they are very quick to carry money and go and meet the same oppressors to tell them that, oh, take your money, we are the good people, and be snapping picture, opening it like a hyena. I ain't trying to help such people. And I understand that if you train one, they want to reveal those same information to the other people. But I think that if they set up their priorities straight and start treating Nigerians fairly, all these things, it is possible for us to make Nigeria a better place. But until then, suffering galore, suffering galore. I have few things I want to say, but I want to take my time to digest it before I fully come out and tell you. But I know why some law enforcement are very dedicated in doing their duty, but no resources, no intelligence behind it, in a sense like no training, good training around it. Most of them, all they just do is use your phone number, and that's BS, because it ain't working. If your exam is, if you are getting using in your exam you are using 20/100, that's failure. 30/100, that's failure. You are even getting 50/50. So they are a failure in one sense or the other. With that being said, I might be coming up with few things later today, tomorrow. But let me hear, what are your thoughts? What do you even think that Nigerian law enforcement can do on themselves? Because we know that the government are not supporting the Nigerian law enforcement. I don't know, allegedly, because they are like, they're not giving enough resources. Even if you look at their uniform, look at the way they dress, look at the way they act, they don't have good resource. And that's why they always call bills whenever you want to go and lay report. You have to give us money for car, give us money for fuel, give us money to go. The people inside bus, you will give them. The people that want to carry, you give them. The ones that are holding gun, you will give them money. You have to make transaction with them before you go. The only problem is most of them, they are always collecting cash. They wouldn't want to collect transfer, and that's the only reason why. And in fact, it's not as if their guy is not even telling them that no collect transfer, or else if they bring your case, we go pursue you, we go even put you for prison. We know all these things. We know all these things. But if you people still want Nigeria to be better, there are certain people that can still help you people. All right, we'll see later.